Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge etc. Kargil Vijay Diwas. Kargil Vijay Diwas is observed every year on 26 July to commemorate India's hard-earned victory in the Kargil War of 1999. It makes the successful culmination of Operation Vijay, launched by the Indian Armed Forces to reclaim the high-altitude outposts in the Kargil sector of Jammu and Kashmir that were infiltrated and captured by Pakistani soldiers disguised as militants. The conflict was one of the most intense high-altitude wars fought in recent history. The infiltrators had occupied key peaks and ridge lines along the line of control (LAC), giving them a dominant view and firepower advantage over the Indian side. Their goal was to cut off Ladakh from Kashmir by targeting the vital Srinagar-Leh highway, thereby attempting to force India into a strategic disadvantage. India responded with resolve and launched a counter-offensive in May 1999. Operation Vijay was a meticulously planned and bravely executed mission involving thousands of soldiers from the Indian Army and strategic support from the Indian Air Force under the name Operation Safed Sagar. For more than 2 months, Indian forces fought tooth and nail to reclaim every inch of territory. Despite the harsh weather, rugged terrain, and the advantage of enemy held due to their high altitude positions, Indian soldiers moved forward inch by inch. They scaled vertical cliffs under enemy fire, braving sub-zero temperatures and lack of oxygen, driven only by their courage and commitment to protect the motherland. The war lasted for more than 60 days and finally came to an end on 26 July 1999, with India successfully regaining control of most of the previously held positions. This day is remembered not only as a day of victory but also as a solemn reminder of the lives lost and the bravery displayed. As a proud member of the Indian Air Force, I was posted during that time in the LOC area of URI Sector, situated in the northern part of Kashmir, right next to the hot zone of conflict. I was there from June to July 1999, spending 40 intense days on duty. Although I was not engaged in direct combat, the experience was no less demanding or emotional. Our base communication post was established inside a bunker and our movement was limited to within or just outside the bunker. My main responsibility was to maintain real-time communication with our base unit in Srinagar Air Force Station, relaying important updates and coordinating with forward units. In war, communication is everything. Even inside the relative safety of our bunker, we lived under constant tension. We could hear distant shelling, the echo of gunfire bouncing off the mountains, and sometimes even feel the tremors of nearby blasts. Every incoming message could contain life and death information. We had to remain mentally alert at all times. The cold weather in Uri was beating even in the summer months of June and July. Nights were freezing, and mornings came with heavy fog and uncertainty. We would wrap ourselves in multiple layers, yet the chill would seep in. There was no concept of luxury. Our focus was survival and service. Our Indian Army personnel were the real heroes. From our bunkers, we watched them go out in the early hours, heavily laden with gear, climbing the dangerous ridges. Many never returned, but their courage remained undiminished. Their only thought was to protect the nation. I salute each one of them with deep respect and gratitude. The terrain around Uri is steep and forested, making movement and observations both difficult and dangerous. Pakistani shelling was unpredictable, and yet our men adapted to every challenge. The soldiers were incredibly coordinated, and the trust we had in each other's roles kept the mission moving forward. There were moments of quiet too, sometimes hauntingly so. At night, we had heard the faint whir of helicopters or see tracers rounds lighting up the sky. Those lights were reminders that men were out there, fighting for every inch of ground, under the cloak of darkness and peril. We often received injured soldiers at nearby medical units. Some bore wounds from bullet injuries, others from shrapnel, but what was most striking was their attitude. They still smiled, still spoke of going back to the front once they healed. That unbreakable spirit is what truly defines the Indian soldier. Our rations were basic. Meals were often dry and cold. Sleep came in short shifts, sometimes interrupted by alerts or fresh movement orders. Yet no one complained. Our strength came from a shared belief we were doing something meaningful, something that future generations would be proud of. I remember one morning vividly. There was a sudden exchange of heavy fire at a nearby ridge. The tension inside our bunker was palpable. We worked double time on the radio, sending messages, confirming coordinates, and ensuring backup units were ready. That day, two of our army friends didn't come back. Their names are etched in my memory forever. The bond among us in URI was deeper than friendship. We are like a family, each watching the other's back. We shared stories of home, cracked jokes in low voices, and found strength in each other during long and sleepless nights. We didn't know if we would return, but we knew we were not alone. Some of my friends from that deployment are no longer with us. They made the supreme sacrifice. Others like me returned with memories that will last a lifetime. Every year on 26 July, I remember those 40 days in URI as the most defining period of my life. When I now see the national flag fluttering in peace, I remember those who gave up their tomorrow for our today. The victory in Kargil was not just military, it was moral, spiritual, and national. It showed the world that India would never allow its sovereignty to be threatened. Kargil Vijay Diwas is more than a celebration. It is a tribute, a reminder, a promise, a tribute to those who fought and fell, a reminder of what unity and courage can achieve, and a promise that we, the people of India, will never forget the cost of our freedom. It is also a day to remember that war is never glorious. It is filled with sacrifice and suffering, but it forced upon us India will rise and India will win with dignity, discipline, and unmatched bravery. From the icy heights of Tololing and Tiger Hill to the bunkers of Uri and Dras, our armed forces showed what true heroism means. And I am proud that I was able to serve, even if in a small way, during this historic moment in our nation's history. Today I stand as a veteran of the Kargil War, not just with pride, but with humility. I was one of the many who contributed to the larger mission, and though I was not on the front line, the experiences, emotions, and the memories of that war live on me every single day. On this Kargil Vijay Diwas, I bow my head to every martyr, every brave heart, and every patriot who stood up for the nation. May their memories inspire generations to come. May their stories be told again and again. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram. Salute to our armed forces, Army, Navy, and Air Force. Thank you very much for your patience. Request for like, subscribe, and share.